we will see how to check the Twilio balance using 𝗵script and send an email to the users when the threshold level hits. So if you think like Twilio already sends an email when the balance reaches less than $5. So why do we need this 𝗵script to check the balance? So think of a scenario like if your client asks you to send an email prior than sending before $5 midnight. Like for example, if he needs an email or some alert which needs to be sent before if it reaches $10 or $20. So in that case, we cannot be able to manually check every day so whether it has reached $20 or $10. So what we will do is we will automate this balance checking using 𝗵script. So first we will see what are the things we are going to do. So first we will see what is an 𝗵script. So if you are new with 𝗵script, so we will learn what is an 𝗵script and what it does. And then once we learn this one, so we will see what is the overview of what we are going to do using 𝗵script today. So after that, the third one is we'll start writing our codes. So we'll enable the 𝗵script and create a function. So using Google Sheets. And after that, we'll use the curl command to check the Twilio balance. So if it is successful, then we'll use the URL fetch, which is provided by the 𝗵script, to fetch the Twilio balance using 𝗵script. So once this part is done, so we'll add the logics to check whether the balance has reached the threshold value, that is the value which we are creating on, and if it has matched with the threshold value means we'll try to send an email to the clients or whoever the person we need to send an email. So once this part has been, the code logic has been done, means we can try to automate using the triggers which is provided by the 𝗵script to run this function periodically. So let's start building our application now. Now let us see what is an 𝗵script. So 𝗵script is nothing but like a rapid application development platform, which is used to create business apps which can be integrated with the Google Workspace. So earlier it is like a G Suite. Like what you can do with 𝗵script is you can create a custom menu or a dialogs for your Google Docs or a sheet, as well as you can create a custom functions which can run the macros for the Google Sheets, or you can create a custom functions for your Google Sheet to send an email or to send a location, or you can import the data. So those kinds of things can be done using 𝗵script, as well as we can create a web apps, can publish the web apps using 𝗵script. So you can integrate this 𝗵script with Google services like the Gmail or Drive. So if you want to send an email from your Google Sheet, so you can do it using the Gmail, or if you want to store some data in the Drive, so using whatever the data or the logics which you have written to store some data in your Google Drive, so you can do using this 𝗵script. Or if you want to convert the sheet Excel data or the sheets data to a BigQuery, so you can do it using the 𝗵script. So there are multiple ways you can use this 𝗵script. So the next question which will come to your mind is do you want to install anything for 𝗵script to run? So absolutely you don't want to install anything. So a code editor is available, so where you can write the codes with the modern JavaScript, so which will be running on the Google server. So all you need is a stable internet connection and a Google Workspace account, or earlier it is called as a G Suite account. So these two things are needed. So rest of the things you can play with the 𝗵script. So this is a general overview of what 𝗵script can do. So you can have a look at the documentation as well, what are the other things you can do with 𝗵script. So we'll just move to the next part, that is what is the thing we are going to do with 𝗵script today. So typically what we are going to do today is we are going to write some codes to check the Twilio balance. So what we'll do is we'll make an API call to the Twilio to get the current balance of our account. So once the balance has been got, so what we'll do is we add a logic to check the current balance and the threshold value which we have kept. And if the balance is less than the threshold value means, then we'll send an email to the users. So where we can send it to one client, or if you want to make a carbon copy or a CC to multiple users, you can trigger it out. So once this base part is completed, so the next part will be it's automating, triggering it out for a timely driven call. So what that will be happen is so once the function is being created and being working successfully, the next part will be it will be the function will be called automatically every 1 hour or 2 hours or every 1 day, whatever the time limit which we set. So let's start with the development now. So let's start building the Twilio balance checker in app script. So the first thing what we are going to do is we'll create a Google sheet. So we'll name it as a Twilio balance checker. So once it is done, so the next step what we'll go do is we'll create an account in Twilio. So if you're already having an account in Twilio means you can just log in. So if you're a new user means you can just go to the twilio.com and you can sign up. So once you are signed up, your default project will be created. So you can just copy the credentials the one which you are seeing right now here. So once a project has been created means so in the dashboard you can see the Twilio trial balance. So we are using a sandbox testing, a sandbox mode, which will have a trial balance of $15 for each account. So once the account has been opened means you can see that balance over here. So since I already used this account, so the balance is it's been showing 0.95. So the next thing what we have to do is we have to copy the account SID and the auth token for this from the Twilio. So first thing what we'll do is we'll copy these two things. So we'll just copy the account ID. The auth token from the Twilio. So once these two tokens has been copied means there is no work to be done with the Twilio side. So you can close this account. You can log out from this Twilio balance check Twilio account. Next step what we are going to do is we'll open the Google Sheet again. So now we will click on the tools and then we'll click on the script editor. So which will open a script editor and so which will open the app script. So once the app script has been opened, so you can see an empty untitled project like this. So what we'll do is first we'll name the project. So you can name anything which you like. So I'm just giving the name as Twilio balance checker 1. So after that, here there's a main function which will be get run off. So before adding the logics over here, so the first thing what we are going to do is so we'll check whether we are able to get the balance from Twilio using the account SID and the auth token which we have copied earlier using the curl command. So once this part has been working fine means then we can add the logics for our we can add the logics in AppScript. So first what we'll do is we'll open the terminal. So once we open the terminal, we just use the curl command which we have copied already. So here what we'll do is we'll be replacing the account SID and the auth token which we have copied earlier. So we'll replace this account ID as well as the auth token. So once these two things are just copied out means we can open our terminal. So we can just run this command. So now if you see here you can able to see the balance, the current balance in US dollars and the account SID as well. So if you see here the balance is 0.95 and if you see here in the dashboard as well you can see the 0.95 as well. So now which means this part has been working fine. So we'll add up the logics in the app script to get the same using app script. So first thing what we'll do is inside our function, so first we'll rename this function. So first we'll rename this function to Twilio balance check, check Twilio balance, and then we'll add up the functions or the logics to get the balance from Twilio using AppScript. So first thing what we'll do is like, so we are going to use the URL fetch app, so which is provided by the AppScript. So it's similar like the Axios request which we are using in our web applications. For web application we'll be using the Axios kind of a thing, right? Or the HTTP call site. Similar like that, we'll be using the URL fetch app, so which will call the API, so which we are going to give it on. So here the one caveat which we will be facing is like whenever the URL to check the balance in Twilio, we have to authenticate the Twilio. So for this one, we'll add up some more logics to make the API call along with the authentication. So it will get authenticated whenever the call is being made, similar like what we have achieved in our curl command. So first thing what we'll do is like we'll create an empty header options, and then we'll add the header for this one. Headers. So here we provide the authorization. So here it will be basic space So here we add our account ID as well as the auth token, which we have done similar like the curl command. So the auth will be like this. So first we add up the account ID. So once it is added, so we concatenate and then we'll add up our auth token. So the header part is being completed. So the next thing is like the URL of the Twilio, so which we can copy it from here. So to balance.json we copy it. So we'll make sure that both the account IDs are the same. So once it is done, the next part will be calling this API. So for that we'll use the response, and then we'll use the URL fetch app, so make the call. So here we'll pass the URL as well as the options to log in. So once this part is done, we'll the next thing what we'll do is like we'll get the response in the JSON format. So we'll create another variable to get the response, to get context. So once the response which we are getting, it will be in a string format. So what we'll do is like we'll pass it out. We'll pass the JSON. We'll create another variable data, and then we'll pass the JSON which we are going to receive. So till this we'll write it out and we'll check whether we are getting the data as expected. So for that we'll use a log. So if in JavaScript we'll be using a console log. So here in AppScript we'll be using a logger.log. So now we'll add that command to check. So now we have written the logics to call the Twilio API to check the current balance for our account ID. So now we'll try to run this function now. So we'll click on this run button. So start running and it will be asking for the authorization. So it will be asked for our first time. So we'll just review the permission and we'll give the access. So we'll give allow. So there is some issue with our code at line number 3 here. So we'll try to figure out what is the issue. And then we'll first we'll fix this one and then we'll go ahead. So we'll check out the issue. Like I think instead of decode you have to use encode. That's the issue. So you can check those things in the documentation as well. So they have provided the documentation of how to do an encode or a decode things. So based on that document, I have just found that one. So now we'll try to save this one and run the function. So now the function is get run. So now we'll see the log whether we are able to get the data. So we'll just click on the view and click logs. So now if you see here, like the log is getting printed out. So whatever the things like the account SID, the balance and the currency. So whatever the things which you have seen in the using the curl command, the same output we are receiving here as well. So now this part has been working fine. So the next step will be like setting up the threshold value. If the value is less than the expected one, so then we'll try to send an email. So we'll start working on that one now. So now what we'll do is like we'll add up the condition over here. So to get the balance alone instead of all the data. So what we'll do is like we'll create a response variable like the balance. Or you can give a variable say balance equal to. So we'll convert this string to a number using a float. So once it is converted, now we'll check the balance. So we'll set the limit, like if the balance is less than limit, the threshold limit. So I'm putting out $7, so 7 here. So if it is less than 7 means then we'll send an email. What we'll do is we'll send email. So the next step what we'll do is like we'll create another function named send email. So which will receive params like the subject, the body. So what should be the subject for the email as well as the what's the message. So we'll set that one in the function. So here we'll write the logics. Send email. So now here we'll do the subject and the body as a params to this function. So first we'll create the subject. Should be a subject, right? So we'll do the subject. So you can add up your own subject and the text for the email. So I'm just giving it for a test purpose. I'm just giving random things. So I'll break it to a new line after the greetings. So once the balance has been added, we'll add another text over here, like this is an auto-generated email. So there won't be any confusion for the users. So now we have created the subject as well as the body for the email. So now we'll call the send email function and then we'll pass this commands. So now we have set that we have called the send email function. So now right now what we'll do is like we'll add the logics for our send email. So here we'll provide our the users to whom this mail has to be sent, as well as so we'll if that email needs to be as easy to other users. So we will do that one here. So first we'll create the recipient to whom you are going to send recipient. So we'll add our email. For now I'm using my email ID. And so we'll use the Gmail app, so which is available in AppScript by default. So all you have to do is like you have to call the Gmail app, and then so it will provide all the list of functions being available. So if you want to get the inbox messages, or if you want to send an message or an email, so all things you can do this list of functions being available. So the next thing is like we are going to send an email. So it will be send email. So here we have passed the recipient as well as the subject and the body. So all the things has been placed out. Suppose if you want to send this, first we'll try to send this one first and check whether this is working as expected. So then if this is working means then we'll see how to send a CC email, so along with the recipients. So first we'll try to run this application. So now it will ask for the permission for Gmail. So once you click the review, so it will ask from which account it has to send the email. So I'm using the same account as well. So then now we'll click on allow to send the email. So now the authorization has been completed, but there is some issues with the line number 23. I think the recipient. So the spelling has been issued. Change this name first. Okay, now the issue has been fixed. Now we'll run it again. So now the function has been get called. So now we'll go and check our email as well. So now if you see here, I have received the email from the AppScript which has been triggered now. So here you see the balance, the message. So since we are given the space over there, we have expect as created as expected. So the message which we are given as well as the balance. So all things has been expected. So this is the one way of sending an email from AppScript. So the next thing what we'll do is like we'll try to have a CC. If you want to send a carbon copy for other clients or to some others. So in that case, I'm going to add a carbon copy emails. So here you can add the list of users you are going to send the email in a string. So to get this, user1@gmail.com, user2@gmail.com. Then once it is done, we'll put after the body. So we'll open an object. Then we'll use the CZ, and then we'll call this carbon copy emails. So which will send the email to the list of users which we have included in the carbon copy. So I'm not going to run this one since it's the test one. So we have completed the 80% of work of sending the email using AppScript. So the next thing is like we want to automate this one. So we cannot run this function every time. So what we'll do is like we'll create a cron job kind of a thing in AppScript. so which will run this function, or which will call this function every 1 hour or whatever the time limit which you are going to set on. So based on the time limit, it will keep on running, and so once it will check the balance. If the balance is less than the threshold value, it will trigger the email. So let's try to use the triggers. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go to the views. So now we'll click on the edit. So here there is an object for thing like our current projects trigger. So we'll click on that one. So which will open a new tab. So here you can see there is no triggers has been set for this project, the Twilio balance tracker. So we'll create a add trigger. So here it will ask us which function needs to be called. So here that will be provided with whether you want to call the Twilio balance or send email. So we have to call the Twilio balance, so which will call the send email function if the balance is below the threshold value. So once the part has been selected means, so here we will be choosing the source. So whether it should be from spreadsheet or it's a time driven, or you want to send it on every alternate days. So those things we can check it out here. So now condition it's a time driven, which needs to be called every hour or every 7 hours or every 12 hours. So like that we can provide it here. So here if you see the options the specific date and time, or you want to run the triggers on every minute or every hour or every day or a week or for every month. So you can choose the every day. So now you have to choose the time, what time this script has to be run. So you can choose any time which you feel. So for now I'm just choosing any time for 8 until 6, and then just click on save. So which will create a trigger, so which will automatically run your application every 5 AM to 6 AM. Within the time span it will run this function once, and it will send the it will check the Twilio balance like this. It will call this Twilio balance function, and if the balance is less than the threshold value means it will be sending an email to the user. So that's how we can automate this checking the balance in Twilio. So the next part, what you can do is if you want to store this balance on a daily basis, so you can write up some more logics to once the balance is being reached, once we get the balance from the Twilio, so we can store those details in our Google Sheets. So that's the second part. If needed, we can create those things. So that's how the basic thing of how to send an email, or how to check the Twilio balance using AppScript and send an email from AppScript. So if the balance is less than the threshold value. So that's it with this video. So I think I hope you enjoyed with this one. So we'll catch up later with another script. So thank you and have a nice day.